All right, so in this video regarding a refund request, there are just a couple bullets. This is more of an internal document or resource, and so because it is in internal SOP, for that reason I have blurred out some of the names or information. Ultimately, this would be something that if you were an individual that I had worked with in a more custom one-to-one sort of framework, then we would craft something that actually matches for your own organization. But for all intents and purposes, the concept is still the same, right? And so hopefully you can get some value from this. Now, number one, you would notify your team, whoever it is that is operating in terms of delivery, or they are taking care of fulfillment. They're likely also handling client complaints, or when customers are dissatisfied or feel unhappy for some reason, whether there is a value issue, then they can solve it up front in order to get that person to reinvest, or to be willing to finish paying, or to be willing to show up for themselves and just implement fully and take action. But there are going to be a few occasions where the client is not able to pay due to life circumstances. There's going to be some sort of logistical issue that's holding them back. And when that happens, we want to still treat that process the way you would a sales process. So with that in mind, there are three to four main types of requests which are going to happen when somebody is refunding or requesting a refund, or rather indicating they're not going to be able to pay one or the other. And so when it's a value issue, they will say something to the effect of, what you're teaching me is something I already know, or this is not what I was expecting, or this coaching sucks, or the coaching isn't what I was looking for. And then that means that there was an expectations issue, or I didn't get results. So maybe they don't feel that they got results fast enough, or it's flat out the sales reps told me XYZ, and it likely doesn't match. If that's the case, one of these four bullets here under a value issue, it likely doesn't match their expectations of when they first onboarded. If it is a time issue, they're going to say some of the following: either it's not the right time to start a coaching business, or, my main job, my 9 to 5, this other thing, this other obligation, it's taking a lot of my time, or I had expected XYZ from myself, right? If it's a financial issue, so that's usually when it's a logistical concern, something that you might need to help make a payment arrangement to accommodate, or you create an extension of some kind if there is room for that in your organization or your current business model right now, if you're a coach, consultant, or course creator, then you will hear the following phrases, knowing that it's an indicator of a true financial issue. I don't have any money left because XYZ, or they'll send you a screenshot showing this is all I have in my bank account, or they might say something, I don't see why I have to pay the other installments when, and then it's these other issues that are going on for them in their life. And so before I move on to the health issue, because that's pretty self-explanatory, it's important to recognize how money, these here, can sometimes tie back to the value issue. So that's why it's really important, especially if you're just a coach, or you're somebody who's part of another person's organization as an operator. Maybe your role is fulfillment, or managing client sentiment, or the community, or something along those lines. It's really important that you are always prioritizing the relationship and getting your clients to understand that this is a journey, there is a process, and it is important that you are, as the representative or the entity or the business owner, you are providing quick wins to your clients so that they feel not just that there is value in it, but the ROI is going to happen for them, and that it actually does occur. So then when money, the objection, does come up again, or the concern comes up again, either that person will be able to get creative, or flat out they're going to be transparent with you, but open-minded, transparent about their situation, but open-minded to maybe a payment arrangement, or they pay a lesser amount right now and you're going to extend that total a little bit and add a fee or some interest on top as a penalty. But nonetheless, this person is likely more invested when they see that you're invested in them. So there are going to be some parts of the equation for the process to function properly. When it's a time, health, or a financial issue, typically best practices, this only works This outline here is a working model, but it really only works when you have more than just yourself in the business. So if you are wearing every hat, this outline here, there are going to be some pieces of it that will work for you, but the process you'll need to modify or tweak based on what you right now do have going on, whether you have other contractors or you have a VA or something like that. So when you have a time, health, or financial issue that's coming up for current clients, then there should be some sort of group chat that is starting or happening from a different team member, some other entity or part of the organization. The entire team should be updated and aware of what's going on. There should also be potentially a call booked, some sort of face-to-face that happens with that representative or that person who is in charge of managing the relationship. Then there should be some expectation setting, some final steps that occur where not only is the entire team on the same page, so the team on the back end is aware of what's going on or transpiring for this one client, but you also are updating your CRM. At the time of the recording for this, I am absolutely utilizing Airtable, but some people have a preference for utilizing ClickUp or Close.io or some other platform. And if whatever your CRM is, that's fine, even if it's just Google Sheets, but you need to have documentation or tracking, not just putting it inside of the customer's client success log or the documentation that they have transparently, but something internal so that the entire team or company is aware of when they go into this client's folder. It's a centralized piece of information in the CRM that everybody has access to, of notes of what's gone on during this one client's journey inside of your ecosystem. Now, there is going to need to be excuse me, some sort of decision if the solution that was proposed for that client was right, if it was in fact in the best interest of both parties. There should be some room to do some troubleshooting. So we have to leave room to acknowledge that sometimes clients are not going to hear what they want. And so when that happens, they might outreach to whoever they consider to be above who they spoke to in the pecking order. So that might mean that they reach out to the CEO, or they might reach out to the sales representative that sold them into the program, or they might somebody else that they want to bend the ear of. And when that happens, whoever they outreach to, ideally this person is of course working within the frame of the team or acting as a contractor as well, then that person is going to echo the same information and support and back up whatever it was that's the final verdict or the feedback or recommendation that was made by who that client may have spoken to. So here are some examples of what to say, best practices. I trust name decision as he is COO or he is. So if you don't have a COO or you don't have a client success manager, then you just insert whatever that person's role is. Maybe they are a client relationship manager. Maybe they are your right hand and you don't have an actual title or a label. That's fine, no big deal. But if you do have other people in your business that clients are going to share they're unhappy with this decision or this outcome, then consider in that regard just supporting your team. It's good for culture, and it's definitely going to be good for the client, because the client isn't going to hear contradicting feedback or contradicting advice. The alternative is what name has said or decided is final, right? And when we have a value issue, same concept, we should be notifying the team. There should be some sort of a call booked with whoever is the head coach or head client success manager or the head of delivery, whoever it is that kind of is maybe not the CEO, but considered equally important in the organization. And then there should be some next steps that are decided and documented or tracked. So again, we would be updating the entire team for full transparency. There should be documentation noted as well in the CRM. Then there should be some sort of troubleshooting aligned with that as well. So it's pretty much an echo of what you see up here, that we should be supporting. If you're the entrepreneur, then you should be supporting your team and echoing whatever their decision is that you support, you validate, you agree with 100%, and you've left it in that person's lap, or that person is the final go-to. And so you're just redirecting back to that individual. If you are the only person in your business, you're the only person at the moment in your organization, then an alternative for you, instead of saying, talk to this other person or what I recommend is this, then your leverage is going to be still aim to get on a call, but you're reinforcing specifically what's inside of your contract and leaving nothing to chance at that point. I have had a few clients who will give the impression, just like you would with a setter, give the impression that the team is a little bit bigger than it actually is. And so providing only in lieu of, I wouldn't do this personally, but I have had some clients who will say, here's where you can give some feedback or make your request. And it's very black and white. They're giving an email address that is not their own, but instead is an email address that doesn't have a name. It might be something like help or support or refund request at, and then whatever the domain is. So when the customer will end up responding there, then the response or correspondence now becomes that they, perception-wise, the client is speaking to someone else, and then the response that they end up getting is in fact just going to reinforce, no, this is the final decision, there's no refund, or here is our refund process, here's what you need to do in the event you do provide a money-back guarantee or some sort of partial refund. So there are going to be a variety of solutions here that can work, as well as some scripts. So I will be only providing this video inside of the curriculum, and case in point, the main reason being because what works for your business might not be a carbon copy of this outline, but this is a working model that you can modify for yourself and just write up based on what are the actual things that are coming up for clients that they are saying in their normal language pattern when they are requesting a refund, when they are verbalizing to you that they are not going to be able to finish paying, when they can't meet their commitment, when they are having XYZ problem. And then you would create some new language or scripts or verbiage around that to address the issue so that you can reduce these refund requests, and you have a solution for when it happens that someone says, I can't pay, I don't want to pay, here's what's happening. Hope this video is valuable. See you in the next one.